Following the death of her father, George V, in February 1952, Elizabeth, then 25 years old, became Queen of 7 independent Commonwealth countries. On September 2nd, 1953, at the tender age of just 27, Elizabeth Alexandra Mary was crowned Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of the United Kingdom and other Commonwealth realms. Her reign of 70 years and 214 days was the longest of any British monarch and the longest verified reign of any female head of state in history. In this programme, we look back to her coronation and to revisit the memories of some of our residents who had the opportunity of watching or being part of the ceremony all those years ago. We also remember some special moments when our now King Charles III paid us a visit and speak to our younger generation to get their thoughts on our new king and his coronation in May. So, what was it like watching the Queen's coronation live on TV back in 1953? Well, let's find out.
There must have been 12, 15 of us peering at this 10-inch black and white freckly screen with my dad thumping it to get the picture.
Really? Oh.
And it seemed to go on and on and on. For a 6-year-old.
Oh, you thought you was never going to get the picture?
No, but yeah, it was a monumental occasion. It was very, very good. I remember seeing the black and white, see it now.
Really?
Yeah.
Gosh. With the neighbours that joined you?
Family mainly.
Was it?
Yeah, I don't recall many neighbours, but I think it was the only television set for miles as well.
Oh.
I think there's one down the pub and that was full.
Right.
But yeah, it was
and did you have a tea party, Jeff?
Well,
did you celebrate with sandwiches?
I think it was a ham tea came out. I remember that. But then
really?
So did my cricket bat. So
oh.
I think I was busy with that really.
Oh.
Yeah, there was the full table of ham tea for everybody and jelly and blancmange.
Oh.
All that type of stuff. Very 1950s.
Was it? Yeah, sort of very retro too.
Yeah.
Oh. Was the village decorated, Jeff? Did you have lots of bunting?
There was bunting down in the village. There was a small triangle in the village, which is not there now. And there was a lot of flags around that. I remember that. Yes, it was busy with celebrations. Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
And you were obviously at school at that time as well. Was there a lot of sort of excitement amongst the school children prior to the coronation?
That I have no recollection of, but I was
remember.
playing junior cricket.
Oh, really?
In the morning.
Oh.
I'd still got my whites on.
Had you?
And there was a thing going on at the cricket club as
Yeah.
well. So
Oh.
there was. I don't remember what was going on at school. I can't remember. I think I was more interested in the cricket, to be fair. And I've got a feeling there's a test match on as well that week.
Was there really?
Yeah. So that's the thing I wanted to watch. But I remember the test match. Coronation, and me and my whites, you see. So, yeah,
and I think you have got sort of also later on in life memories of
the Queen.
The encounter of the Queen,
right.
the late Queen.
I did a bit of catering, in fact, a lot of catering at the Yorkshire show.
Right.
And this particular year, when she was there visiting, I was inside the marquee, and the people got packed, lined with people, and they were pushing themselves and climbing onto the marquee, which is creating to stretch and tear. So I'm underneath pushing these derrieres off the marquee onto the thing.
Oh gosh.
We also had a young lady. We were doing 2 lots of catering up there, and we had 2 girls fetching the trolley of goods back from one event to where I was, to the main base, and then they were smack dead on with the Royal Parade as they're coming towards us, and they had to hightail it back again. The police were shunting them all off and so on.
So you did have a glimpse of the Queen?
Yes, I did. Yeah. And then the royal family as well. Everybody was there. It was a good event. Yeah. Excellent.
Excellent. Yeah. Wow, a great insight into what it was like watching monumental events back in 1953 live on TV for the first time. But what was it like just 100 miles away in London, being on parade and actually being part of the coronation ceremony itself?
On the actual day, I was in London. We'd been transported up, Some regiments were on the line of route for the coronation, and the government of the day, didn't take much interest. Well, you're too busy on other things at the time. But for some reason, a decision was made for units, the various barracks that are around the country, 2 men from each regiment or company command would be attached with the Guards regiments and the household cavalry to man the route. We were picked up, and then coaches took us into London to Horse Guards Parade,
Yes.
and which is a large area within the square of Whitehall and that. And we were debussed, got into the groups, the sergeant majors and everyone sorted us all out.
Right.
And then we were designated to where we would, and then we were marched off and taken to the positions that we would be. And we were at the top end of the mall. The other fellow and myself, we were amongst the ones as you went away from Buckingham Palace up the mall, where they turned right to go to the Abbey, you see.
Right, okay.
And we were told, this is where you will stand, so far from the road, and so far apart, and then as I started coming out of the gates of Buckingham Palace with the parade, the Gold Coast first. And
how did you feel?
Oh,
How did you feel when you saw that gold coach coming towards you?
Very excited, expectant. I think that's a better word than excitement.
Oh.
I stood there and thought, this is going to be great. And see all this. And you could see, looking down, you could see the coaches started to come see, oh, this is going to be lovely, you know.
Gosh.
And then all of a sudden, you started to realise that where we'd stood in a row with policemen slightly in front of us, in between us, or spaced out, going, all of a sudden, you got people by the side next to you. Before, like very few minutes, as the coaches,
there was a surge.
People pushing on your backs, and you're taking all
really?
your time to stand there with your rifle and that. The crowds were getting excited and they started pushing forward. And before we knew where we were, by the time the coach got up to us,
Yes.
was the horse guards and the cavalrymen and all that.
Yes.
That was lovely, and the bands and that. And we were then behind the crowd in a way. They couldn't go on, the police were keeping them from going onto the road, but they'd surged in front of where we were standing, so we were few. And so we were having to crane our necks rather than have a grandstand view. Of course, the coaches did get level with us, and as they went by, you didn't get a chance to really look at them. But the Gold Coach is a spectacle, of course. The one thing out of all the coaches and the spectacle that it was Queen Charlotte of Tonga.
Yes.
Didn't know that at the time. It was in the newspapers and all like that. But the coach, it was open coach, you see. A lot of them didn't have the tops up. There were coaches with sides, and because they were sitting there, and she never stopped smiling. She got a smile a mile wide on her face. She looked the happiest person and the most pleasant person in the world, and she was waving to everyone all the way around.
So you've taken that
That was
with you.
worth the journey alone, that was.
With TV being a rare luxury back in 1953, some communities organised events where people could come to watch the ceremony live, or so we thought.
I was in my early teens actually,
Right.
and there weren't many televisions about at that time. The only other thing that happened was the town invited us all to go to the Regal Cinema.
Oh, right.
Now,
I
the
remember
Regal
it well.
Cinema is now a Regal Court, which is a retirement apartments.
Yes.
And
yes.
so we all piled in at the designated time and sat there all expectant, waiting to see if there were any pictures. But there were no pictures. Because of course the media wasn't in action then.
No.
And so all we heard was a commentary from Richard Dimbleby.
Oh, really?
A running commentary. But we heard what the Queen was wearing and what she was doing, how it all went.
So
but we were very disappointed that we couldn't see anything.
Oh, what a shame.
And the only consolation on that time was that we went back to the street party. But it was just after the austere years of the war.
Yes.
So therefore we had jam sandwiches.
Oh, fab.
And we had jelly and blancmange.
Right.
And we had a few homemade cakes.
Oh, how
But
lovely.
nothing like a street party would have now.
No, the elaborate
I know.
feast that you'd get of today.
Absolutely no. But we thought it was a feast.
Yes,
It was
absolutely.
a feast compared with what we'd had previously. It rained all day,
Did it
cats and
really?
dogs.
Oh,
And I
gosh.
remember I heard it said by Richard Dimbleby that the Queen of Tonga was in an open carriage and she was absolutely drenched.
Oh,
And I mean,
gosh.
coming from Tonga to London.
She'd have felt our British climate for sure, wouldn't she?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would have been quite
yeah.
a shock.
But, then after that, I mean, she reigned wonderfully well. She really was a
That's
wonderful
lovely
queen.
tribute.
And whoever can remember the coronation can only be just so glad
And
that we
proud.
had her, and proud that we had her. She was
Absolutely.
a wonderful person.
On the 8th of September 2022, we saw the passing of our country's and world's longest serving monarch and the head of the Commonwealth, Queen Elizabeth II.
Oh, very sad.
Well, it was sad, very sad time.
It was a sad thing because I think she was the right person for the right job.
A real terrific, historic moment, wasn't it? You know, she was such a tremendous lady.
You feel she's a personal friend
Yes.
when you've known her all through her reign.
Absolutely.
The end of an era, really.
Absolutely, and a
So,
very
well,
hard
we keep saying,
act to
well,
follow.
what's next? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
quite.
yeah.
She was a grand person. I mean, everyone said this at the funeral, everything like that. But she never did anyone any harm, and she was steadfast. And what she said, she lived a good life, I think.
So she was superb.
A light in the world went out.
Some may remember how now King Charles III visited Atherstone as the then Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales. On the 27th of June of 1985, Pat and David Roberts received a rather unexpected phone call and were told to expect a very special guest. Can you remember that lovely day, the 27th of June 1985?
I shall never forget it. I was teaching at the time and I was allowed a day off because it was a special day.
Yes.
And of course the preparation of the food and gathering of the staff was, well, just so special. Yeah,
Sure.
for both of us.
Absolutely. And Pat, how did you feel about the invitation coming through?
Oh, that
for the Royals?
was amazing. You know, we were asked in January if we had any plans for holidays, and in June, and could we cater for some VIP guests. But we were sworn to secrecy at the time, and we weren't even told who it was for a week or so. But when we were, we discovered it was Prince Charles and Princess Diana.
So I bet there was a lot of silver polishing going
Oh,
on
yes,
pre-visit.
yes.
Not that there wasn't anyway.
Yeah.
But,
Well, originally they'd requested menus, which I supplied, or we supplied rather. And then about 3 weeks before the date, Prince Charles' equerry came, and it was decided then that rather than have just 20 odd people
Yes.
with a formal sit-down lunch. It would be far better to cater for nearer 50
Gosh.
and have a buffet,
Style.
quite informal, so people could mingle, get together, and then the royal couple could just walk around.
Sort of
But
meet their
they
guests.
had to have a special little room upstairs where they could freshen up,
Gosh.
and they had their own small buffet,
Yes.
because it's they don't like to be seen talking with a mouthful. I think that was the thinking behind it.
Oh, I understand.
So
that.
he had his watercress soup, which was his favourite,
Oh.
and some of the nibbles that we put on. But he didn't partake of a wine that I'd been to France, or we brought back from France specially for the do.
Oh.
And but he said, no, I can't take on too much liquid because of obvious bodily functions.
I mean, we discussed it earlier, didn't we, about how you got along with the royals, and really, you were saying about how he made you feel such at ease. Could you explain what
yes.
he was like as a person here?
Oh yes, we were so. I mean, all that you read in the press and all of the information you have publicly, you expect him to be a bit reserved or a bit stiff, but
Yes.
not a bit of it.
Well, from it.
No.
He was very, very open and made everybody, all of our staff, they couldn't get over the fact that he made them feel so
at ease.
relaxed.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so did we. They were fantastic, and he was particularly good with the staff. A couple of the kitchen staff and the cook was peeping round the corner to see them walk out. He spotted it, stopped, and then went into the entrance of the kitchen just to speak to them.
Did he
all,
really?
Which was marvellous. It was very, very
Very
good at
humbling
that.
for them.
Yes, it was wonderful. Yeah. I had a very good opinion after that.
Oh.
And I made my mind up then that he was going to make a very good king.
And then obviously they went on then from here, didn't they, to go over to Bosworth for
Yes,
the commemoration of the Battle of
Yeah, I
Bosworth.
think the security was very tight because of the troubles of the time.
Yes.
So we had the house obviously well protected. There were
Yes.
people on the roof and
Oh, gosh.
in the garden and all
Really?
over the place. But that was necessary.
They couldn't be
Yes.
seen, of course,
No.
during the visit, but
Yeah.
But they were with us for about an hour,
Right.
just slightly under, if I remember.
Yes.
And they left us to go to Inage Park for a short visit to the industry, and then over to Bosworth
Right.
for the, I think, 500 years of the battle.
Yes, of
Yeah.
Battle of Bosworth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
and then a
Yes.
helicopter back to London. He said,
Oh, I'm glad.
fantastic.
It's just wonderful for you to share your memories, and I
Yeah.
know that you've got a book with
Oh,
some
yes.
fantastic photography
Yeah.
inside and
Yes, you'll
all
treasure that.
memories, and obviously,
I think had it have been just a hotel,
yes,
it would have still been special, but it was ultra special because it was our home.
absolutely.
We lived upstairs.
You had a royal visitor.
Prince Charles said, "Oh, is this your home?" And I said, "Yes, it is." He said, "I love these small country hotels, family run," and it really, boosted.
You obviously gave a great impression.
Yeah.
We have now heard firsthand from people's experiences of our late Queen's coronation, right up to our current King's visit to our wonderful, historic market town. But what do our younger generation, who probably get to see William crowned King in their lifetime, think about our new King?
Who's the king then?
Is not the king. He's King Charles II, and he basically kind of not runs the world, but like he kind of like owns England. Or like that.
He's a monarch and he makes up like rules, like he makes up the laws that they can be legal and stuff.
Yeah, he goes to like hospitals and schools, hospitals to check on other people with like disabilities and stuff.
Charities.
Donates money to help other people, like the homeless.
The king is a person who's in charge of like the UK and that, and he makes laws like confirmed.
So what does the king do all day?
Sign papers.
Sits on his throne.
He makes like decisions and makes speeches, and like he also like kind of makes laws, like yeah.
Sitting on this throne watching TV. Because he visits schools so he can like see the children. He obviously does quite a lot of speeches, but that's usually at Christmas time. Like he'll do a big speech. He'll do a big speech like that Queen Elizabeth did, and he'll say a big speech at Christmas time, and he'll say one at the Coronation. He helps charities.
So you like saying speeches then?
Yeah. A lot of speeches.
Visits different countries, goes to different important places.
He gives people titles like Sir Elton John and Sir David Attenborough.
Can you tell me what important event is coming up soon?
King's Coronation.
The King's Coronation.
His coronation.
And why is that important?
Because it shows that he's going to be crowned king.
Yeah, and that there's a new king that will be like in our country and will serve Europe.
Where the king gets like crowned. And yeah.
So he says a speech to everyone that joins, like everyone that comes to the coronation. Every parade.
I haven't ever seen a coronation, so I don't really know.
What do you think they do?
Probably like, I don't know, maybe he's like sitting on a chair or like an important chair or something like a throne, and then like crown him, like bow down and then like crown him or something.
And like a celebration with loads of people, and there'll be like food and stuff for people to get.
There's going to be a huge parade. He's going to give out a speech and he's going to be crowned.
What does he look like then?
He's got grey hair. He's tall. Big ears.
He's got some nice hair.
Big ears, grey hair.
Yeah.
Pretty tall.
Okay.
For me, he always looks sad.
Probably about 6 foot.
Okay.
He never looks happy.
He has a crown on his head. Oh wait, no, it got. No, not yet. Wait, that's in the King's Coronation. He gets that.
He's always wearing a suit. Yeah.
What do you think his favourite food is? What's the part to eat on the coronation?
100% pizza.
What's that?
I mean, it is a need.
What's that? I assume he goes and makes that himself in the palace.
Nah, probably goes to Pizza Hut or Domino's.
Takeaway.
Yeah.
Honest opinion.
Yeah, sounds good. You can come in, sit in your bed, something.
I'm a big slut.
Sounds good.
So there you have it. Some great stories and insights to our royal connection, and some wonderful thoughts from our children of Atherstone. And what better place to finish this programme off than in our wonderful Hatter's Garden, right next to an historical building that was actually here during the reign of Queen Victoria. We hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.